So all this starts to get incredibly fascinating and mysterious when you turn to the Quran. So in two places, the Quran tells us that Noah's floodwaters, it was a flood, it covered the earth, it killed all living things except everyone who boarded the ark. And in two places, we learn that the floodwaters came out of an oven. And you're like, an oven, a tanur, an oven. Mm. And the reason that that's fascinating is because, oh, here it is, right here. In sort of 11:40 through 44. So they tell him, so Allah tells Noah, you know, he built an ark and he says, and when, ironically, Allah can't even evade his polytheistic origins in this story. So they're referring to Allah in the plural. They're going in and out of the plural for the single God, the God. So they're saying, and when Allah's will was done and the water welled up from the oven, tanur, we, again, it's in the plural, said to Noah, take into the ark a pair from every species, your tribe, except for those that are already doomed, and all the true believers, right? So that's a tanur. That's what the floodwaters come out of in the Quranic flood story. Tanur is just a cooking oven. It's usually used to make, you can see the bread there, the flat bread that they're used, the unleavened bread they used they cooked in it there. I've excavated one of these in Syria, actually, at a place called Tel Marra in near Aleppo. But you got to remember, you might say, well, what does all that mean? That's just bizarre, right? Well, not if you turn to the stars, it's not. And you see all the way throughout the Quran that Muhammad is alluding to the Quran's pagan celestial origins. So in two tablets in the Quran, as you can see there on the screen, the Quran is referred to as a celestial tablet that's kept in heaven, that's kept in the sky. In 9 different places, there were a group of pagan Arabs that didn't believe Muhammad. They would not convert to Islam. And they said, oh, he's just telling asatir, myths of the ancients. They're fables of the ancients. They're celestial mythology. It's the stories of the celestial mythology of the ancient pagan world that was circulating in Arabia. And you see aspects of it showing up in several of the Quranic chapters. Chapter 53 is Al-Najm, the star. Chapter 54 is Al-Qamar, the moon. Chapter 85 is Al-Buruj, means the zodiac. Chapter 91 is Al-Shams, the sun. And the reason these are so pellucidly pagan is because Muhammad is being tutored by a Persian magician named Salman al-Farsi. And Salman is dictating, remember, Muhammad's illiterate. He's dictating these celestial myths. And then as Muhammad learns them, he's going forth and reciting them to his tribe, the Quraysh, and he's reciting them, and they are saying, oh, this is indigenous Islamic revelation. And that's why you get these celestial pagan foundations showing up, this facade showing up in the Quran. But so that's why the Quran itself is called the recital. Al-Quran means the recitation or the recital, because that's what Muhammad's doing. He's reciting the celestial myths that Salman al-Farsi has dictated to him. Now, the reason that starts to get interesting is surely because he was one of the Magi, Salman al-Farsi understood that the flood story was based on a picture story in the stars. So remember that our constellation, remember it was called Iku? Well, Iku, remember, it's got, I mean, the Iku sign has, I think it has like 16 different readings, but one of them is Ga, and Ga means box, okay? And it also, Iku also means to carry floodwaters. And the reason that's interesting is a synonym for Iku is the Sheed sign. And it also means box, but it's also read gear, and gear is just the word for oven. So all of a sudden, through what Mesopotamian astrologers would call constellation writing or Lamashi writing, wordplay in the constellation titles, images and titles, you get the words, the ark, the boat, which is the ark, carries floodwaters, and it's an oven. And that's very likely what Salman al-Farsi taught Muhammad. So Muhammad worked that into lucid Arabic and then reported that the floodwaters came out of an oven, because he's looking at the picture story in the stars because Salman al-Farsi is teaching it to him. And that's what I believe the origin for the idea of the floodwaters coming out of an oven in the Quranic version of the flood.